question that came up when you were talking, how do you interact, or is there a way in your mind or thought process to reaching out to a high like value individual before being interested in telling them about a sales or finding out what they're looking for, or any of that sort of nature?
Yeah, so when I first started calling on high net worth individuals that owned a jet, the number one piece of advice that my manager gave me was don't talk about the jet. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, my whole goal is to get them to sell me my jet. How do I not talk about the jet? So I don't like that piece of advice, because what it ended up doing for me is as soon as somebody actually answered the phone for the first time, I just froze. I was like, what do I do? And they're like, what do you want? I'm like, do you want to sell your jet? And they're like, nope, click. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, like that was my very first phone call talking to somebody, and I already failed. Well, there's no place to go but up from here. So the best piece of advice I got from my former agency was sell to people the way you want to be sold to. And what that did for me is that allowed me to, number one, I had to understand how do I like to be sold to. So another piece of advice for people, figure out how do you like to be sold to. When you're going through sales training like Cardone or whatever it might be, you start to see there's different methods, right? And so what kind of a buyer are you? Do you like a lot of information, analytical data? Do you buy mostly on emotion? Everybody buys basically for two reasons. It's to solve a problem, or it's just for the emotional like enjoyment of it. And so, if that's the reason people are buying, well, how do they get to the point where they're ready to make a decision on it? And so for me, when I go to a car dealership or when I am making a big purchase, the first thing I'm doing is I'm investigating. I'm going to all the blogs, I'm going to YouTube, which one is the best, piece of technology, car, whatever it is. So I am the kind of person that I like to find a lot of information, and whoever provides me that information, that is the person that I know, like, and trust, and that's the person I want to do business with. So for me, as I progressed in my career, I was very transparent, and that's why I started my YouTube channel, is to be that authority that was available online. There's nothing that would frustrate me more as a buyer if I could go online and I couldn't find information about something. That was very frustrating to me. So I tried to make myself available for people to find the answers that they were looking for. So the other thing is, if someone's going to call me out of the blue, so the video stuff is kind of stuff that was in year one and year two, year three. But starting out, if someone called me out of the blue, I don't want to hear, hi, Mr. Lelyo, how's it going? This is Daniel. Like, how's the weather over there? It's like, what the heck, man? Like, you're interrupting my day. What do you want, right? And so for me, it was more about getting to the point. And I would call someone and be like, hey, Daniel, this is Tom with JetLife Aero. Good morning, right? And it would be controlling that conversation, because now I know you're either going to say good morning or you're going to say I'm good, which tells me I don't have your attention. You're not paying attention. So, hey, Daniel, it's Tom with JetLife Aero. Good morning. You're going to say good morning. And then I'm going to say the reason for the call is. So they know right away why I'm calling. The reason for the call is I was just wondering if you're planning on upgrading your CJ this year. If I was able to find you a retail buyer for it and I could find you a replacement, would you be interested in that? So now you've got, three choices. Either you're going to say, yes, tell me more. You're going to say no and hang up, in which I can't do anything. Or you're going to say, no, I'm not interested, but you're not going to hang up. And so now that's my chance. And so learning those skills and selling the way that I want to be sold to allowed me to find more and more success, because I can predict where the conversation is going to go. And I came to this understanding that, like, I'm not going to sell to everybody. Like, I'm going to sell to, my vibe is going to attract my tribe. And I think I sell very well to people that are like me, that just tell me why you're calling. It's either yes, it's a no, it's not a personal, and, just keep going through the volume to find the right people.